Hey everybody, this is meteorologist Hayden Nix here with your 1 o'clock forecast update with talking about the remains of Gordon continuing to move across Arkansas and also what's expected into this weekend. Before we get into that, I just want to stress something here. Over the last several days, the one thing that has been mentioned and talked about with Gordon, the impact of Arkansas, is the rainfall potential. That has not changed, but one thing we also wanted to stress to you is checking back with us for updates, because with these systems, we typically see tweaks and changes in the movement, and with these movements that can change the orientation of where those heaviest rainfall amounts could set up across Arkansas, and we're seeing that come through fruition here over the last 12 hours or so with this system. But one thing that we've been mentioning here is rainfall, and as such it's not going to be raining all day long. As you see with this time lapse, it's periods of rainfall with on and off conditions here and there, and even some potential of sunshine popping in here and there. You can see that with satellite radar imagery right now. You've got little pockets of sunshine that are trying to squeeze in between a good bit of cloud cover across Arkansas. Now you can see that rotation there. The core of Tropical Depression Gordon is now centered over Jefferson County. That's where Pine Bluff's located, and now starting to take more of that northwestward track. Now, earlier today, it was almost on a due north movement, but with it at such a slow speed, now currently moving to the north-northwest at 5 miles per hour, that slow of a movement, just think of a spinning top on a table. You spin it, it's going to wobble, it's going to meander on that table. It's not going to stay fixated on one set path. It's going to go north, it's going to go south, it's going to go east, it's going to go west. With such a slow movement, that's what we're seeing with Gordon. It's going to have influence from the surface, where you've got friction from trees in the different elevations of land, causing it to steer and kind of wobble its way towards the northwest. You also have other different features in the atmosphere, like the frontal boundary to the north, that's helping interact with this as well. Needless to say, with that slower movement, that's that meandering issue that we're having, and the overall prediction of where that core is going to move into Arkansas. And with that, that's where the higher axis of rainfall would lie. Now, as I mentioned, the overall movement, not so much changed in its trajectory as it works its way through the state, but with the higher rainfall amounts, and maybe now starting to see that across the central section of the state, maybe from south central Arkansas all the way to north central Arkansas as we watch this move forward in time. So there goes the core of it, stalled out boundary to the north. There's the rainfall as it continues to work its way across the state over the next 24 to 36 hours. Now, once we get into Friday evening, really the core of Gordon is going to merge into a boundary to the north of us. And with that, we're not done with rainfall. So that's part one. Part two comes in whenever we start to see it turn into a low pressure system that we typically see move across the United States. And here comes the cold front that it forms with it. So the center of Gordon is going to actually sit to our northeast and convert and bring that stationary boundary down through Arkansas as a cold front. And with that, here comes phase two of rainfall going into this weekend. Best rain chances are going to be Saturday, and then we'll see the rainfall coming to an end as that front drives to the southeast over Sunday. It may take into the beginning of next week before we officially start to see that out of here and rainfall coming to an end. As I mentioned with the rainfall amounts, high rainfall potential, maybe not so much the case anymore. We were still expecting maybe pockets of 6 inches plus being potential with Gordon, but now not seeing that as much. Now, over the next 36 to 48 hours, that is going to be more or less 2 to 4 inches. So still looking at rainfall in a decent amount here over a short period of time, but we're not done with it once Gordon's finished. Once that cold front comes through, we're going to see more rainfall continue to be a factor. And then you see that we could have amounts that range from 2 to 4 inches more statewide across from Texarkana up through Arkadelphia, Clinton, Batesville, Searcy, just to name a few locations. Now, don't take these numbers to heart. I'm just giving you a generalized area where those higher numbers could lie. And then we could see pockets that exceed 4 inches plus. Those are going to be very isolated locations, but nonetheless, that potential does exist. Now, we still have the flash flood watch in effect. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of these trimmed out. It is in effect until 7 a.m. Friday, but we may see it expanded, a few more counties added in north central Arkansas, but that would be just about the extent of the expansion into other areas. But as far as time goes, They may let that expire. They may reissue another one, adding more counties and extending it for just a few more hours, given the fact that more rainfall is anticipated through Friday evening with Gordon. Today, though, 81 degrees. It's going to be pushing it if we can get there. We're at 77 right now. Temperatures, in fact, will probably remain pretty steady over the next several hours here, not changing much, but maybe 5 to 8 degrees overall because of that warm tropical air. It doesn't allow for much as far as cooling down goes into the overnight hour, also with the help of cloud cover acting as a blanket to keep that warm air down at the surface. Crane Automotive Team Impact numbers show we're elevated today to a 4, 3 tonight, and Friday at a 4 because we've got rainfall. You're going to have wet roadways. You're going to have some inconveniences with slower traffic, and also we don't want you to be in a hurry because we can have easily more accidents because of not having good traction with our tires on those roadways, with the water acting as another layer to create less of a friction. So if you hit the brakes, you might be rear-ending somebody, and we don't want that. So make sure to put space between you and the vehicle in front of you and also behind you if you can. 7-day forecast reveals, as I mentioned, good rain chances all the way through Saturday, then dropping it down to 40% as that front starts to clear out, keeping small pockets in there for Monday and Tuesday, but for most folks, you'll stay dry.